Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to be doing something a little different today and actually setting up my 2021 planner with all of you. So this first video is going to be explaining how I'm going to set it up and then my work section. And then in a separate video, I will be setting up the rest of my planner. So since this one is going to be a long one, I am prepared. I have my Dr. Pepper with me. Go ahead and grab yourself a snack, grab a pop, a coffee, a tea, whatever. We are going to be building my planner today. So I'm actually going to be switching to these gold metal discs from these plastic ones. And I have all of the covers on here right now. And this is basically the same setup I was using towards the end of last year. And I'm going to keep it the same. And I'll explain what all of these covers do as I put this together. So first I'm going to pop all of these off the discs and I'm going to replace them with these gold metal ones. I used to be a die-hard plastic disc fan, but you know what? The paper just flips so much better on the metal ones. So my main cover is from the 2021 Good Habits Planner, and I had bought this when it first came out, and I had redated like the last 4 months of the planner, so I've been using this for quite a while. But I'm going to be just using the cover for my 2021 planner because I'm going to be doing something a little bit different inside. So I'm going to pop both of those covers on the discs. So I have my main planner cover right here and I love the inside. So this is a window cling sticker from a Teresa Collins Happy Planner Be Happy box that I was curious if it would stick to the inside of a planner cover, and it does. And then I put a journaling card sticker right here. I thought the colors match the inside of the cover, and it might be kind of fun to write something and then have it like a little secret in my planner. And then next up, I'm going to use this Be Wild and Wander cover. And I have a daily focus card taped up here. I found on Pinterest like a fun little daily focus thing that I'm going to do. And then I have a Remember Why You Started, which is my favorite phrase of all time. And I just did that with this Dymo label maker. And then I have another one of these journaling cards because I think it's bright and fun and matches the colors on this page. And then I have my little pocket where I'm going to store some of my stickers. So this cover is going to go next on the discs. So this cover is going to act as just a divider. So I'm going to have this section and then I'm going to have my work section, which is going to be both covers. Because what I'm going to do with these is make a transformer planner to keep it separate from these two sections. I want to have everything in one planner, but keep my work stuff out of my personal stuff because when I'm not working, I don't really like to see my to-do list, but it is nice when I think of things that I need to do to just have my work stuff where I can jot it down real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the front cover on here, and I've seen the Transformer planner. It was really big, I want to say like a couple years ago, and I never did it, but I really love the idea, and because I'm keeping everything in one planner this year, I am going to go ahead and do that with this. So instead of placing my cover like this, and actually on the front cover I just have my Remember Why You Started again, and then another pocket. So instead of placing it there, I'm actually going to place it on top of the front cover. So these two covers will be different, but that is the whole point of having a transformer planner, because when I go to this section, I can go ahead and open the back cover, and then I can just open my planner like this. And then my work section becomes the front of my planner, which is exactly what I want because when I'm working, I want my work stuff to be with me and not necessarily my regular stuff, my social media stuff. So I love that this Transformer planner gives me the best of everything. And then when I'm done with my work day, I can open it up to my regular planner and there's my regular planner cover. So this is going to be super fun and I absolutely love this setup. So today's video, we're going to be setting up the work section of my planner. And I'm going to take you along how I'm going to set it up with the getting things done method. So I have been reading through this book and it is such a good book and it's kind of changed the way that I've planned, especially for work. So you can see I'm still reading some of these sections and I have a bunch of highlighted parts. It's so good. I highly recommend reading this. If you're finding yourself a little bit stressed out with things that you need to do, this is such a great take on how to plan and get your projects and tasks out onto paper. So with this method, I'm going to be using printables from my Etsy shop, and I will have everything that I'm using in the description box below, but you can use any planner that you like for this. This is just what I am using for my work setup. So I have the dated monthly sheet pack in here. So this is just a simple neutral lined monthly, and it is just the months. So it's just goes straight from month to month, and I love that because I don't typically use my monthly layout all that much, but it is nice to have for project deadlines or just days that you want to remember. And I do frequently check back with my monthlies to see, like, if somebody has a question on when a change went live or something like that. I have all of that in my monthlies, so I like to have the entire year. So I'm going to go ahead and just pop this into my planner first. So now that I have my monthlies in here, I'm going to do my weeklies. And I came up with this layout because after reading the Getting Things Done method, I found that I really just wanted like a day-specific checklist, but also to have a task list of just things that I need to do. And I can't really get away with not having a weekly layout completely. So this was kind of my answer to having a day-specific task sheet. So this layout is 2 weeks at a time. So it's Monday through Friday and then the weekend at the bottom. And I kept the weekends for my work planner because occasionally there is stuff that I have to do or check on the weekend. Not often, but it is nice to have that there. And the best part about this is I have 2 weeks on each page, so I can actually see 4 weeks at a time. So my entire year of day-specific tasks can be in here. And then I'm just going to have a checklist sheet, which is also in my shop, which I just labeled next actions with a Avery tab and my label maker. And this will be where I put down my tasks for things that just have to get done, not necessarily on a specific day. So I have space at the top so I can label this list if I want to. So one of these sections, like in the book, might become like a waiting for list or something like that. So what I'm going to do here is have my day-specific tasks. So let's say on January 12th, I have to call somebody to set up a meeting. I can write that on January 12th, but then everything else that isn't date specific will go on my next actions list. So basically when I am at work, I'm going to go off of my day checklist, and then once those tasks are done, I can go on to my next actions list. So I'm going to pop these in here right after my monthly because I usually will go from my monthly to my weekly section, but my weekly section is now going to be these pages, which I think are going to work out super well, especially because I can have the whole year and I can basically see an entire month at a time. And it'll be so nice to be able to go back and just see if there's something that I need to double check on what date I actually did something. I have that all stored right here. Or if I already, let's say I have something that I need to do and I already know it's in June, but I want to check in on it on June 1st, I can go ahead and just write myself a reminder there right now. And when it gets to June and we get to this page, I can go ahead and just see what it is that I need to do for each day. So I'm super excited to start this next week and use my next actions list for non-date specific tasks. And then I'm just going to pop this in right where I am working so that I have all of my tasks easily accessible throughout the day, all in one layout. So this was the planner that I was using. It's the Good Habits, and it was 2021, and I redated the last 4 months so that I could go ahead and use it. But since I'm using this system, because my planning has changed into more of just like list making, I am going to steal some of the dividers out of here, because if I do anything with this planner this year, it'll probably be using the weekly pages only and not the monthlies. So I'm actually going to turn these dividers into tabs for my work planner. So I'm just going to go through here and pick out my favorites and add those to my work planner. Before I do that, I have this clear sheet that I just made for a divider, and I have used this acetate paper that I found at Michael's, and it's just clear 12-inch by 12-inch pages, and you get 12. So I trimmed it down to fit the classic, and then I punched it in my punch. And I have a really nice thin divider, and I just used my label maker to label it. I called it the daily docket because I figured it sounded pretty cool for the daily stuff that I need to do at work. So I'm going to pop that in here, and the best thing is I can see through it. So no matter what side this is on, I can read what's on the other page. So I'm actually going to use this divider as my first divider, and this is actually from I think it's the Goals Guided Journal, and I really like the divider for a work-related, especially for the getting things done method, and I really like that the front of the cover says trust the process. So it's kind of going to be my little reminder to trust the getting things done method, trust what I'm doing, and give it a decent try to see if this is going to be something that's going to work and really help me with my planning at work. In the front, I have this pocket page, and I only used the 2-inch square one where I think it's like rows of 12 for my seasonal inspiration boards, and I want to use the others. So I think I'm going to find some work-related inspiration from Pinterest or quotes or something, and I'm going to go ahead and pop those in there. So I'm going to put that at the front of my planner. And then I'm going to be using these dividers. So I have this one for the second divider. So these are going to be what are making these sections in my work planner. So for the third tab, I have a choice between this one and this pink one, which I think I'm going to use this pink one because I really like the gold and I love the blush pink of this divider. And then I think I'm going to use a fourth one. I'm not completely sure if I'm going to do 4 tabs or if I'm just going to stick with 3. So I have this choice and this choice, but since I already have a yellow tab divider for my first one, I'm going to go ahead and take the blue one. So now that I have my dividers picked out that I'm going to use for this planner, I'm going to focus on covering the backs of them so that they're blank and don't contain the monthly page. So I'm just going to move my planner out of the way. And then what I'm going to do is cover the back with some note paper. So I have my giant book of filler paper that fits the classic planner here. And I'm just going to flip through and see if there is anything in here that I want to tape to the back of this. And I think I would really like to have a graph paper. So I'm going to go to the dot and graph paper section here, and I think I'm going to use something in here. I want it to be mainly neutral so that no matter what I do, it will match. So I could do this one because it's just strictly a black and white striped paper, but I'm going to see what I have in the specialty paper section. So I actually really like this pink, and it is a graph paper, and even though it's pink, it's fairly neutral. So I think I'm actually going to use this one right here and then just glue that down to the back of the divider. So I only have one in this book, so I'm going to grab some others from the container that I have of more filler paper. So I have 4 of those, and I have my 4 dividers, so it is now time to glue everything together. I have this double-sided sticky tape because I don't have anything left in my tape runners right now, so this will do just as fine. It works just as well. So I have my scissors here, and I'm just going to pull up a strip of this, and I'm going to line each divider on the 3 edges. And I don't put sticky tape ever along the discs. I basically just do it all the way to the edge of the paper. I find that when I glue pages together, the disc part actually holds it together enough where I don't need to glue that side down. So I'm going to peel all of these up so that I have the sticky part. And then I'm just going to line up the hole punch here and press this down and trim off any of the extra. So I have this first one done. So I have a blank page that I can write on or stick sticky notes to. I'll probably just use it as like a dashboard to stick sticky notes on. So I have all three of those dividers all set and ready to go. And then next up, I just have this first one to do, but I actually don't think I am going to cover this with the pink paper. I think I want to keep it more neutral than that. So I'm going to use this black and white one, and I'm just going to go ahead and do the exact same thing that I did for the other three, but glue this paper down instead of the pink one. And I'm keeping this one different because I think for this tab, I'm going to have it be more of like a notes section for the getting things done process. And I'll explain a little bit more of that when I get to setting up that section. So I have my planner back here, and it's time to relabel all of these and pop these in where they're going to go. So I'm going to start with this first one, and I'm going to take my label maker, and I have clear paper in here already. So it's going to print on clear transparent sticker paper. And I'm just going to type in getting things done. So this is going to be my section that I have where I really want to take some of the quotes and concepts that I have highlighted in the book and write them down on some note pages so that I have them with me. I find that sometimes when I'm planning, I refer to my book periodically just to kind of see and get myself back on track with what I'm supposed to be doing. So I want this section to just be some quick notes for the process so that I can refer back to them as I'm planning. So I printed out two, and this is what it looks like. So I have one for the front and one for the back of the tab. So I'm going to peel off the backing, and then you can see it's just a clear sticker paper. And then I'm going to add that right here to the tab. And then I'll do the back one, and I'll line it up with the paper on the front that's already down. And I'll press it on there really good, and then I'm just going to use my scissors and trim off the extra around the tab. So now that I have that done, I have my first divider all ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and add this right to my planner in the front section. And then I have this weekly review checklist that I made from the book, and it's just a cheat sheet for myself with a page flag of the steps of a weekly review, and then some questions or things to look up from the book based on my work schedule and tasks. So basically, I'm going to try really hard this year to stick to having a weekly review, and then I'll go through each of these steps and go through each question as well, so that hopefully this will keep me organized and make sure that I am seeing all of my tasks list, especially like the someday maybe list. I feel like I have a giant someday list, but then I never go back and look at it. So I'm hoping that this process and this little cheat sheet that I made for myself will help. So I basically just typed this up on my computer and printed it on a piece of vellum paper that I picked up at Michael's. And then I'm going to swap out the clear plastic for the white one just so that I can cover up the months that are already on here since they're not blank tabs. So this is the white paper, and you can see the other one is just clear plastic. So these are the two that I have and will be using in my planner. And these are super easy to change out. You just pop it out, pop it right back in. And then for my second tab, I'm going to call it Meetings and Reference. And I'm hoping this isn't going to be too long for the tab. I'm hoping it fits. And I seriously love this thing. Like, having a label maker so that you can make your own labels and change them whenever you want is super fun. So it is going to fit perfectly. So I have my front side done. And I'm just going to go ahead and print another one so that I have one for the back, because I like to see the label on both sides, and obviously have to cover up the month on both sides of this as well. And then I'm just going to trim off the extra again so that I have my second tab done. And I'm going to place this one in my planner along with some other inserts that are in my shop for meeting notes. So I have a section up here where you can have like meeting details and then meeting prep questions, notes, and action items. And then the back is just lined paper. So I have 4 of these that I'm going to pop in here, and I don't really see myself using these for every single meeting. They'll just be like the bigger meetings where I have to either prepare something for or possibly look up some information, or if I've just thought of a question before the meeting, I can go ahead and write that down here. So one example that I'll be using these for is January. I will be in a product demo meeting. So this will be super nice for the next couple weeks when I'm back to work. I can go ahead and write down any preparations or questions that I have about the product, along with things that I think they might ask about us. So I can go ahead and just write down our stats, any questions I have, and then I have plenty of space for meeting notes and any action items that come out of that meeting. So I think this is going to be a great way to keep track of those larger meetings that I have. And then I'm trying to decide if I'm going to use both of these or just one. I can only really think of a need for 3 sections, but part of me really wants to have a 4th one just so it's even in my planner. Like, I have tabs all the way down, but we'll see if once I set up this last section, if I'm going to be using that 4th one. So this last one is just simply going to be called Planner, and it's going to hold my monthly section and my weekly. And I'm going to line this up so that it is center with the word March. And then I'm just going to go ahead and do the exact same thing, line it up with the one on the back. And then I'm going to trim this so that it is even with the top of the tab. And then this one is all set. I have my planner section. I have my planner already in here, so that'll be behind this tab. And I really don't think that I need anything in a 4th tab. So I'm going to go ahead and in the Getting Things Done section, I'm going to go ahead and also add in one of these dividers, because part of the Getting Things Done process is to have a list of like your projects and someday maybe task lists and waiting for stuff like that. So I'm going to also put those types of lists in this section, but I don't need like my next actions list because I have that in with my weeklies and my weekly tasks. So I'm going to go ahead and just call this projects and lists. So I'm going to press this down real good so that it like seals to the divider tab. And I'm going to go ahead and just pop this right in here. So this will divide out anything that I keep in the front of this section from the projects and lists that follow the Getting Things Done method. So I'm going to use another page of these checklist papers. And then I just have this, I made this so long ago. I just have a tab, and this is just a mini note sheet of paper with the getting things done process. And I just like to keep this in here just as a reminder. And then in this front section, I think I want to have a couple note pages just to write notes about things that I've highlighted from the book that I really want to remember. So I'm just going to add a couple of these blank lined pages. And then I think I want to have an area for just like general notes, just to have paper on hand for whenever I need it. So I think I'm going to go ahead and add that to the meetings and reference section. So I'm going to go through this classic filler paper again and pick out some paper that I'm going to add. And I don't want to add too many sheets of paper, but I want to have a few different kinds for options based on what I'm doing. Sometimes I like to do a mind map for a problem that I'm trying to solve, or just quick jot down some notes if I'm on a phone call or something like that. So I want to have a variety of paper. And while looking for paper, I found another one of these little half sheets that I made. I found this 9 things to do during downtime at work on Pinterest, and I loved it so much that I just did the exact same thing. I typed it up on my computer and printed it out on vellum paper. And I'm going to go ahead and just pop this in my planner. It's just a fun thing that I want to add. That's a nice reminder of just things to do when you have a little bit of downtime. So I'm going to add it right here to the front of my planner section. And then going back to this section, I actually found different paper that I want to use for just general notes. I love the watercolor, and I think it looks really good with the gold discs. So I have that in there, and I'm just checking to see how thick this section is getting because this is only half of my planner. So I want to add some other note pages here behind this checklist, and I want to add some pages that I can use for like project planning and just general notes. So I have this grid paper, and then I have this blank paper as well, lined paper, and then I figured this would be good for like a project. I can write tasks and plan out at the bottom. So I have a couple of each, and I'm just going to go ahead and pop these in this section. And then I might put the note paper in the back with this tab, but I don't know. When I put a note section in my planner, I find that I just don't ever flip through it. So I'm kind of tempted to not put it in here. And I'm actually not going to. I'm going to place this paper in the back of the meetings and reference section because that's really what this stuff is going to be. It's going to be quick reference stuff. My main reference for just keeping things that I need to refer to is on my computer. I do that digitally. So I just need a little bit of paper here for those times when I'm planning something where I just want to write it down, or if I just need to quick make some meeting notes. So I have a couple different kinds of paper in here. So because I jumped around a whole lot setting that up, I'm going to go ahead and just flip through my work section. So I have this little pocket page where I'm going to put some inspiration, some fun photos and quotes. And then I have my getting things done section where I have my weekly review checklist, where I'm going to keep my notes on the getting things done process, things that I want to remember from the book. And then I have my projects list section where I have a little getting things done process reminder page that I made with a fun little note from somebody that I work with. I have some more checklist paper here where I can keep a list of projects or waiting for, someday maybe, whatever I need. I have this paper right here, which I'll probably use for project planning. And then my meetings and reference section for meeting notes and just general note paper for whenever I need to plan out something or jot down a quick note. And this blank paper is super good to have on hand for like if you're just trying to map out a problem and get everything out of your head and just onto paper. And then the last section is my planner section. So I just have this fun little printout of 9 things to do during downtime at work. And then it goes right into my monthly layout. And I plan to just keep like project deadlines, any just things that are going on, dates that we find out, days we're closed, stuff like that will all go on here. So I just have month to month, and I love having the entire year in here all at once so I can refer back if I need to, or plan way ahead if I find out I have something to write down for one of the months towards the end of the year. And then it goes into my weekly checklist layout, and I have my little daily docket divider here with my next actions list. And then I just have this printed out in a way so I have 52 weeks in here, so I have the entire year of daily checklists. And that is the work section of my planner. So I'm super excited to try the getting things done in this new way of planning at work. And I'm kind of excited to go back so I can write everything down and fill it all out. So be sure to hit that thumbs up button if you would like an update on my getting things done process in my work planner as I use it over the next several months. And be on the lookout for a part 2 setup video because I will be setting up the rest of my planner, and I will talk to you all in that video. Bye guys!